What's happening, people? Just thought I'd make another video. Trying to knock them out so I can get some stuff put away. I got a lot of stuff I got to put away. On the agenda coming up, I don't know if you can notice, but that wall used to be white. Me and my wife painted my music room. So a room tour is going to be in order now. I got a few things to put up still. And then I'll give you guys a tour. I always love room tours, and I've never really done one. I kind of did a mini one downstairs, but kind of show you guys, you know, all my stuff. Anyway, but this episode is gonna be another jazz video. I've just been so hooked on jazz lately. For a while, you know, if you kind of follow my channel, you probably noticed progression. I guess it was soul for a while. I mean, I still love soul, obviously, but I just every night I mean, been listening to jazz right now. I got Donald Byrd, A New Perspective. It's an original stereo pressing. I would show you the label, but it's on the turntable right now. Killer album. Hank Mobley, Kenny Burrell, Herbie Hancock, Butch Warren. I mean, it's crazy, and looks like Duke Pearson actually arranged it. So, great album. Been getting really lucky on eBay. I have a desk job, so it kind of gets me in trouble sometimes. But I've been selling a lot of stuff on eBay too, so I haven't actually paid for any of this stuff out of my own, you know, checking account. It's coming out of, I just leave the money in my PayPal and let it build up. So a while back, well, record store day, obviously. That's how long I've been sitting on this. But I didn't buy this album, but then Andrew Tales from the Crate showed it, and then I started reading about the company, which is Resonance Records, that put it out, and I ended up buying it. I never buy albums that cost this much, but I had to have it. It's such a beautiful record, and they do such a good job with their reissues. Like that. Trifold. It's got a nice little book in it. I mean, they really do an incredible job. And it had some stuff that was unreleased before. I think it's just the third. Yeah, so the first two LPs, one's Conversations and the other one's Iron Man, and then the third one is previously unreleased material. So Resonance Records, if you haven't heard of them, I missed out, and now it's impossible to find, but they did a Bill Evans thing for Record Store Day, and I missed it, and it's just, I can't pay that much for it now, and so I wasn't going to miss it this time. And I didn't even realize it, but the actual Record Store Day, that's from Black Friday. I don't count that as Record Store Day, but they also did this release. The other one I had that I showed a while back, Grant Green Slick. I didn't know that they did that one as well, and it's really done really well. All right, and so these were the last week before New Year's, so they still count in my 2018 finds. I found these two Nina Simone albums. And it's crazy that I don't find doubles of Nina Simone when I find them. Like, I'm finding ones that I don't have, which is... I had this album. Andre Lindeleg gave me a reissue of this album, but now I have an original. This is Little Girl Blue. This is her debut. That's right. Original Bethlehem label. I couldn't believe it when I just saw it sitting there. I mean, I guess Dallas people like Nina Simone. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But this... Forbidden Fruit was probably my favorite Nina before this, just for me, you know. Everyone's got different tastes, but this album has taken that #1 spot. It is absolutely incredible from start to finish. Her voice, definitely more of a jazz lounge type feel. I mean, it's freaking incredible. If you can, just get a reissue of that, you know. I mean, that's what was holding me over. But that's also Best of Nina Simone. Not as desirable, but still pretty cool on the RCA label. Has some of her hits. It's got I Shall Be Released, you know, the cover of Dylan. My Man's Gone Now, In the Morning. It's also got, I can't think right now, but alright. Next, I got this at an estate sale. Man, this was probably a couple months back now, but like I said, I'm backlogged. This is Eric Dolphy, Last Date. It's on the Limelight label. Let's see here. This is from the 60s, I believe. Killer album. Nice gatefold too. It's got like a little book in it and stuff. Pretty cool. Not any major players you probably recognize on this one, but still a great album. I didn't even know much about his stuff on. I don't know how many albums he did for Lifelight, but not one I see every day. So when I saw it at the estate sale, obviously for the price, especially, it had to come home with me. Sorry, guys and girls. Next, this was at that same estate sale, not one I see all the time. So Yusef Lateef, The Blue, on Atlantic. Also another good album. Yusef Lateef kind of gets out there a little bit sometimes with his music, but this one's still enjoyable for me. So that was nice fun. Alright, the next four, I was thinking about doing a whole kind of series on these pretty soon. This is from the Blue Note LT series, which was all a series of releases that they did in the late 70s, early 80s. It was actually, at that time, United Artists owned Blue Note. I think that was after Liberty, yeah. So United Artists owned Blue Note, and they found just a treasure trove of unreleased Blue Note albums that were all recorded, but the Van Gelder studio in the 60s, mid 60s and stuff, but they were just never released. I showed one before, Lee Morgan, the Tomcat, Grant Green Solid was probably one of my favorite LT releases, but in the case of Lee Morgan, it was never released because it was so close to the Sidewinder that they recorded it, so they just didn't want it to, mess with the success of the Sidewinder because it was selling so much. So I ended up picking up these four, and I'll just show them. The covers kind of suck, I'll be honest with you. They don't bother me a whole lot. I know a lot of people seriously hate them, but I mean they don't bother me a ton. But this one's got that's the only problem with this. Yeah, so this is recorded in like 65. Billy Higgins, Lee Morgan on trumpet, Jackie McLean obviously on sax. This Consequence, and it's got the blue with the white bee. Great album. All these are great albums. They just never released. Next one is Dexter Gordon, Lighthouse. And guys, these are all so reasonable. You don't want to spend money for an original Blue Note, but you want to have the same. This is an original. This one's got Dexter Gordon, Freddie Hubbard, Bob Cranshaw, Billy Higgins. Also recorded in 1965. I mean, the height of these guys' careers, 64, 65 was credited some of the best years of jazz music. And, I mean, these can be had super cheap. Stanley Turrentine. Which one's this one? Ain't No Way. Also on the Blue Bee. I mean, I think this one's, I can't remember, one of these is comp, I think. This one might have been the comp because some of it was recorded in 68, some of it was recorded in 69, so this one's actually a little bit later. But Stanley Turrentine, Shirley Scott's on one side, his wife, Bob Cranshaw. On the other side, McCoy Tyner, Billy Cobham on drums. Good stuff. And the last one, Stanley Turrentine, Mr. Natural, also on the Blue Bee. So definitely look into this series, guys. I probably have about 8, I want to say now. Look at this one. This was recorded in 1964. Ray Barretto, Elvin Jones, Bob Cranshaw, McCoy Tyner, Lee Morgan, and Stanley Turner. I mean, if you were to get an album that was released in '64, that would be like the New York USA labels. If this would have been produced then, this would probably be like, who knows, $100-something album now. But this can be had under $20. Go get them. Next one, lesser known of Wayne Shorter. This is towards I think the early '70s, just judging by the label here. This is Moto Grosso Feo, I think is how you pronounce it. This one's got Chick Corea, John McLaughlin, Ron Carter, Dave Holland, and Michelin Prale, who I'm not super familiar with. It's got the Black Beast, so it's early '70s. Great album. Anything Wayne Shorter does, I'm pretty much a fan of. Even when he gets into the '70s stuff, I still enjoy it. So, I actually got these from 2 different sellers, but same album. Both in immaculate shape. So I'll just show this one. This is Monday Night at Birdland with Hank Mobley, Billy Root, Curtis Fuller, and Lee Morgan. Crazy lineup. And there's actually, I think, another Night at Birdland or something like that, and I'm on the hunt for that one. On a cool roulette label, original stereo press. Killer album. I kind of enjoy, I'm not a big fan of live albums, but with jazz I kind of am, because they start talking with the crowd a little bit. You know, I have a Chet Baker one where he's like, what do you guys want to hear? And I think it's just the interaction's pretty cool because the jazz musicians are kind of right there. They're not at a stadium, you know. So good album. Obviously the players are killer, so go check that one out. All right, next one. My favorite jazz pianist, kind of credit him for getting me into jazz almost. This is Horace Silver Quintet with J.J. Johnson, the Cape Verdean Blues. It's the original. You see it? Oh, original mono. Great album. Definitely up there, my top 5 from him. Really enjoyed it. Probably in the top 3, I would say. Alright. Next 2, I don't see these super often. This is Art Blakey, Caravan. It's on the blue Riverside label. Pretty cool. Let's see who's on. Yes, we got Freddie Hubbard, Curtis Fuller, and Reggie Workman. Nice album. Really nice album, and immaculate shape. Another Art Blakey. This is Ugetsu. This is at Birdland, as you can see. Also, this came from the same seller. I'm telling you guys, eBay. This has Freddie Hubbard, Curtis Fuller, Wayne Shorter, Reggie Workman, and obviously Art Blakey on drums. There's some killer deals out there on eBay. You just have to be patient. Don't just click. If you can wait it out, you're gonna find some awesome deals. Sorry guys, I gotta go to work in a little bit. Next one, Chet Baker, Jazz at the Black Hawk, on cool red vinyl. It's pretty neat. Chet Baker had a couple, or not Chet Baker. Chet Baker has a red one too. That's why it's throwing me off. But Dave Brubeck has a couple of these like colored vinyl for back in the day. It's kind of neat. Dave Brubeck, Paul Desmond, Lloyd Davis, and Ron Crotty. Just typical Brubeck, man. He just sounds great all the time, and just an enjoyable listen. And I'll round it out with this one I got a while back in that blues collection, but this one was more of a jazz type, bluesy type thing. Chicago Jazz from 1925 to 1929. This is actually on the Biograph. This is released in like the early 70s or something like that. I wasn't familiar with a whole lot. I was familiar with Johnny Dodds, but not a whole lot of these other artist. Maybe some of you are familiar with them, but it's a very enjoyable comp. Really happy to find it. It's not super expensive when I looked it up, but just immaculate shape. So nice to have that. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking in with me, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the jazz. I still have a lot of stuff to show too. I'm not just strictly jazz, but it's just what I've been into lately. So that's what I've been buying a lot of. But we got another blues video probably coming, or blues soulsy video coming pretty soon. The room tour, and then just more typical finds. I want to try to do some different content in 2019, not just finds and stuff. So be on the lookout. And anyways, take care.